Hey everybody, Mags here. We are going to review some of the hints and tips that we've been given this year on the Dynasty Hot Seat. If you are new here, do me a favor, can you like, comment, share on this video for me, please, like you can see here. And then also, if you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button too? It really helps out. Right, on to the hints and tips.
So I've made kind of three key things. I've been playing Dynasty for only about 4 or 5 years, to be honest. I've been doing redraft in fantasy since about 2010. Got into Dynasty and never really looked back. Although I play a lot of best ball now as well. But with Dynasty, I think the number one thing I'm thinking about is what am I doing with my team. So I'm in some Dynasty leagues, some that I commissioner, and there are guys who sit in the middle, almost in the playoffs, maybe just out the playoffs in a 12-man, 14-man league, year after year after year. They don't make many moves. And that might be fine. They might just be in there for the social aspect and a bit of fun. But they're just middlers, what I call middlers. And for me, I'm always thinking about, am I contending or am I rebuilding? And the two opposite ends of the scale to them middlers. And if I'm not contending, then I should be thinking about what moves I need to make to build for the future. And I think if you look at your roster and you don't know which one of them two you are, then you need to work it out and do your best to progress towards one of them things, because you can turn a rebuild into a win now, into a contender, but it takes some time and it takes some planning. And some people don't think far enough ahead. They're just playing what's in front of them within that season. That'd be my kind of number one thing that I certainly think about when I'm playing.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. You know, the worst place you can be playing Dynasty, I think you're right, is what do you call a middler, being a middler, because you're never getting better as well, because even if you don't trade away your draft picks, you're kind of getting middle round draft picks. You're getting kind of like okay guys, no one that's going to be a real difference maker. And yeah, you're not improving your team by picking up those real value players at the start of drafts. So by losing and like kind of blowing up your team, you're going to get all those guys and just selling everyone, or you're going the complete other direction and you're buying those high-end talents and seeing if you can win. And it's all about being honest with yourself as well, and not just thinking, oh, I've got Jerry Jeudy, he's going to be your wide receiver 2 overall this year because he's got a new quarterback. It's taking a step back and really being honest with what you got in front of you, and not just assuming you're going to get lucky over and over again.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like, you've got, we talk about the middlers and the people that sit in the middle. You do have people that contend every year, and you do have people that are not that great every year as well in the same leagues. And that's why those people that contend every year are contending every year, because then people in the middle and then people that are near the bottom year after year without doing anything about it are the reason you might, in some leagues, not all, have the same contenders in the year.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I think that's a great first tip for everybody, Matt. And you got 2 more tips for us as well, do you?
Yeah. So number 2, and I'm not going to talk too much about it because it's interesting. I made this note a few days ago, and then the UK FFC, which is obviously on this Saturday, announced their third and final panel today for Saturday, and it's about age. It's about how we value age when playing Dynasty. So I'm really pleased they're doing a panel about it, because my second tip that I wrote down was think about age, but don't overthink it. So, and it kind of ties into my first point in that if you are rebuilding, sometimes you are going to want a younger team. And a lot of your contenders are going to be teams full of not veteran players, players in their mid-30s and early 30s, but people hitting their peak, 27, 28, 29 years old, scattered with a little bit of veteran and a little bit of, you might hit on a rookie like a Jamar Chase or someone like that.
Yeah.
You might make a really good call and or get really, really lucky with a rookie pick. Okay. So I think when you're thinking about point 1 in rebuilding or contending and what you're doing, you want to be thinking about age and looking forward. How many years is it going to take you to be a contender? And then what kind of age player are you going to target to get there in 2, 3, 4 years, or whatever that might be, whatever your plan is. But as I said, I also think people shouldn't overthink it. There's some great players out there that are in their late 20s, early 30s who can still do you a great job for 3, 4 more years. And I think there'll be players out there who don't even look at age. And you know, I wouldn't say I'm an expert on age, but when I'm thinking about what I'm doing with my team, I'm looking at ages, definitely. And there's players out there in the league who you feel have been around forever who are only 26 or only 27. And it will surprise you. You'll think they're 30, 31, and you look their age up, and actually they're not. So I think being close to that is quite important in terms of helping you with point one that I made.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, I think you're right about those players that, like, I'm sure Juju Smith-Schuster is aging in reverse, right? Every time I look at him, he's getting younger and younger, right? It's absolutely mental. And then you got to think as well, like, not age is a funny one as well. So, like, I heard, I can't remember who told me a while ago, like Alexander Madison, who's been in the league for years, is only 1 year older than Najee Harris.
Yeah.
So it's like, doesn't always translate to experience and age. And then obviously different people have got different tread on the tires. Like if you overthink it, I think you're just going to end up, running yourself around in circles, and just, try and keep it simple. I always like to think of it like 3 kind of categories, and some players do overlap, but like you've got your futures for tomorrow, you've got your futures for today, and then you've got like your rentals as well, like your 1 year rental players or your 2 year rent that are just going to go away, and they're just for like championship teams, really, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
yeah,
that'll be very interesting on Saturday to hear.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear from the guys that are on there. Certainly much more expert on the field than I am. I'm really looking forward to listening to them on panel 3 on Saturday.
Yeah, that'll be brilliant. And yeah, that's a great second tip for everybody there. And what do you got for us for your third and final tip, Matt?
So I'm going to cheat a little bit because I actually wrote 4 down and then thought I need to keep it to 3, but I'm going to lump these last 2 in together because
sounds good.
They kind of go hand in hand. And this is the one that I'm really rubbish at when it comes to Dynasty. And the reason that I think I'm not as good as I could be when playing Dynasty, in that I'm not close enough to what's going on in college football. You've got some great people out there online who produce content around people coming through college. I know that next year is seen as a good year. But I couldn't tell you. I couldn't give you 5 names of players that are likely to declare for next year's draft right now. I couldn't. And I say every year to myself, I'm going to do it, and I never do. I never get around to it. And I think if you're thinking about point 1, rebuilding or winning now, contending, looking ahead to next year's draft, looking ahead to the year after. If the class for next year or the year after is not seen as fantastic, then get rid of them picks and use them to hone in on what I said in point 1. Staying close to what's going on in college. And then the other side of it, again, something that the information's out there, but I'm not good at looking it up, is individual players' contract situations. So again, when you're thinking about, am I contending next year, the year after, what am I rebuilding? Who's likely to move? What's the dynamic going to be if X player changes team? Yeah. So we've got a ton of players this summer, as always, who have moved team, and it does increase or decrease their value. Juju Smith-Schuster was terrible last year, but the fact that he's gone to the Chiefs has, I believe, increased his value and certainly lowered his ADP. So understanding contract situations and where players are with that and where they might be next year is another important thing. The info's out there. It's not hard to look it up. It's just finding the time to do it, and that's what I'm not very good at.
Yeah, 100%. And I know that one of the best guests I've had on here, Antonio Carnevale, he did that as one of his main points, was looking at player contracts. And and he gave a really good website. I'll have to go back and check. I'll send you the link after. But he gave a really good website that has really simple, like, players on their contract year, players with 2 years left, and just like the whole layout of the contract. You can filter it. It seems to be very, very easy to use. So that would be like a quick thing to have a look at for that.
Right.
Yeah, it does. It does have a huge part to play. Like, even somebody like Josh Jacobs, sort of been more widespread that he's not going to be picked up for his next year. So now he's in a contract year. That changes things a little bit. And yeah, definitely having those college players as well. And that could even go deeper as well. Like, what is the draft order going to look like for next year? What is it predicted to look like? Where are some of these young guys going to end up? Like, CJ Stroud is one of those hyped up quarterbacks, but he could end up anywhere next year, and all of a sudden he's not as hyped up anymore. So it is, you're right, it's finding the time. It's, obviously us both being from the UK is extra hard as well sometimes to find the time to get college football worked in too, right?
Yeah, definitely. But there's some great guys out there who know a lot about what's going on in future years.
Yeah.
Who come in this NFL that you can, and a lot of them are UK based. So yeah, it's just finding the time to digest some of that content, really.
Yeah, 100% agree. And you're right. Bless those people who write those Twitter threads and post up those YouTube videos. I kind of use them a lot instead of diving into it more myself. So that's a tip I'm going to try and take on board for the new season, Matt. That's a good one. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Remember, like this video, leave a comment if you want, and subscribe to the channel. These videos are going to be coming thick and fast, so you don't want to miss anything. So that's it for today. In the meantime, keep yourselves, keep your teams lit. We'll see you next time.